So you've been gaining weight round your belly. You've not been feeling yourself. You've noticed a wee bit of inflammation. You may be feeling a bit depressed. Anxiety has started. A bit of this, a bit of that. You're just generally not feeling yourself. Maybe night sweats. And even your libido has gone out that window. Well, you're probably menopausal. And I'm going to share with you all the things that have helped me. I've already done a video on HRT, which I will link below. I've done a video about my diet, which I will also link below. But in this video, I'm going to discuss why I have introduced fasting, the benefits of fasting, and I'm also going to touch on some of the questions and comments that I had in my last video. Now before we get into all of that, and so as you don't miss out on any of the videos that I make on this subject, I'm going to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already. Whilst you're there, you can ding-a-ling my bell, which will remind you every time I upload a video, and a thumbs up is always very much appreciated, and I love to read your comments in the comments box below. Just in case you're a newbie and you don't know who I am, let me welcome you. Hello and welcome. Don't forget to subscribe. And let me introduce myself. I'm Andri. I am 57 years of age. I am a mother of 3 sons. I'm a grandmother, a yaya, of 3 wonderful grandchildren. I'm also going to tell you, because it's quite relevant to this video, I had a hysterectomy in my late 30s. I had a full hysterectomy, which means that I still had my ovaries. I know a lot of people assume that a full hysterectomy means they've taken everything away, but no. Full hysterectomy basically means I had my womb and my cervix taken away, but I was left with my ovaries because I was still quite young. So I wasn't put on HRT then, and I plodded on quite the thing because my ovaries carried on producing all the hormones that they needed to produce. Okay, fast forward to when I was 54, I decided to go on HRT, and I will link that video like I said below so you can see as to why I decided to go on HRT, because on this video we are going to discuss fasting. Like a lot of menopausal women, I started to gain weight, especially around the belly. So when I stood on the scales, I was getting heavier and heavier. I tried so many different diets, which just did not work for me. You name it, I probably tried it. And for those of you that have been with me for a while, you would have watched me trying all the different diets. This comes from somebody that was never really overweight and probably ate whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. But I got to a stage in my life where I could not do that anymore. But it wasn't just, for me, it wasn't just about gaining weight. For me, I noticed my health deteriorating and just put it down to getting older until I went and got blood tests, and actually it showed that I was not at a good place with my health. So that gave me a fright and decided to change everything. Now, I've always been a person that exercises, so exercising alone does not help with weight loss, belly fat and all of that. What I discovered was it's a combination of HRT, exercise, a good wholesome diet, none of all this packet stuff, none of this stuff that's full of preservatives and colours and sugars, especially sugars. So cutting out added sugars to my diet. So I'm fine with the natural sugars, but I do my very best to avoid any foods with added sugars. So HRT, exercise, a good diet and fasting, and this is what we're here to discuss. But before we get on to fasting, remember, fasting is not for everyone. I am not a doctor, I am not a dietitian. My expertise in this is what has worked for me. That's it. That's all I have to bring to the table, is what has worked for me. So before you do any of these things, before you start on a diet, before you go onto fasting, HRT, you need to see a doctor. You have to see the experts. You need to see the doctors. You need to see the dietitians. You need to seek expert advice. This, I know, has worked for me. Like I've said in other videos, one size does not suit all. I'm giving you a general idea as to things that can work, but have worked for me. But seek advice from the proper people and do your homework. So the benefits of fasting: it can help with weight loss. Not my preferred option for weight loss, but fasting helps with a lot of things and not just weight loss. Like I said, you need a combination of all the things that I have already mentioned. So one benefit is and can be weight loss. It can lower blood pressure. It can lower cholesterol. It can prevent the onset of diabetes. It certainly helped me with inflammation. It can improve brain health, which is very important to me because my mother had dementia. So a lot of these things that I'm doing now help the prevention of dementia. But one thing we need to remember, although fasting can help all of these things, it all depends on your genetics. Now, if you have inherited that gene that means you're going to have high cholesterol, I doubt this is going to help. You're going to have to seek your doctor and they're going to have to put you on the right medication. Things like high blood pressure, diabetes and cholesterol and probably all the things that I have already mentioned could be down to your genetics, and therefore diet isn't going to help. So again, seek the help that you need to get, so you get the right advice. So how does fasting work? Well, it takes roughly between 10 and 12 hours to use up your stored carbohydrates, including the last meal that you had to eat. So then when you've used up your stores of carbohydrates, you then start burning fat. So that's me simplifying how fasting works. So you use up your carbs, so you start burning fat for fuel. Again, age, exercise, genetics makes a difference to all of that as well. So, you know, within that window of fasting, if you're exercising, you're obviously going to use up more carbohydrates, and then you're going to use up more fat. So the other thing that fasting makes a difference to is your insulin levels. So whenever you eat, basically your insulin levels go up. So when you're fasting, your insulin levels are low. So the less times you eat during the day, the lower your insulin is going to be. You're not going to be shooting your insulin levels up. So all that said and done, how do I fast? Now, I'm not one that likes a lot of rules. If I'm going to do something, I need it to be simple. I don't want to think about it. So calorie counting doesn't work for me. You know, things that I have to use apps for doesn't work for me. So I like to simplify everything. Now, when you're doing the fasting, there's people that do different things. So some people only eat once a day. A lot of people eat twice a day. Some people just eat, you know, continuously within their eating window. You know, it's up to the individual how you do it, and you need to find what works for you. Now, what would be pretty useless is, and what I've seen people do, is during your eating window, you eat anything and everything. For me, that defeats the purpose. For me, this is a lifestyle change for health reasons. It's not just about weight loss. In fact, when I started this, although I wanted to lose weight, for me, the importance was to get my health back again. And with that, the advantage was I lost the extra weight and I totally lost that belly that I had gained, I mean gone, completely gone. And back, my belly is exactly the way it used to be when I was much younger. I mean, there's no belly there at all. And you know, like I said, for me, when I started doing this, it was for health reasons. It wasn't to lose weight. I'm really happy that I have managed to lose the weight. But like I said, I had tried lots of times before, because it wasn't about health before. It was about losing weight, the extra weight that I had put on during menopause. I just couldn't do it because I just wasn't eating the right things. I tried fasting without dieting, and I was that person that thought I could eat anything in my kind of eating window. Doesn't work. For me, or at least it doesn't work for me. For me, I need to incorporate healthy diet, exercise and fasting, and it works a treat, just like that. So how do I fast? So like I said, I don't like rules. It has to be easy for me. So I basically do the 8-16. So I fast for 16 hours. That's what I concentrate on. Fasting for 16 hours. And that includes the time that I am sleeping. That's within my fasting window. So within that window, I have nothing but coffee. Let me tell you something. This morning when I was brushing my teeth and I was using my mouthwash, this particular mouthwash, because I don't eat anything sweet now, or I avoid sweet things, when I was rinsing my mouth out with my mouthwash, I was like, that tastes sweet, and surely we must swallow some of it. Some of it remains in our mouth, and the sweetness of that could break your fast. So as of tomorrow, I am not going to use my mouthwash until I break my fast. So what I'll probably do is, when I have something to eat, when I'm breaking my fast, I'm going to then go and mouthwash my teeth, because I just felt at that point, this morning, honestly, I'm probably wrong. This is just me. I'm probably totally wrong. I need to look at the ingredients out of it. But they say whilst you're fasting, because your tongue has all these senses, if your kind of cells and all that sense that you're having something sweet, that could make your insulin levels go up. So I don't know about that, but honestly, this morning when I was using the mouthwash, I was like, oh, that tastes sweet. Why does that taste sweet? But that's how I pick up on sweetness now, because I just don't have anything sweet. So anything with a slight bit of sweetness, I'm like, I'm alerted to it. Back to how I fast. I fast for 16 hours and I eat within that 8-hour window. Now when I'm eating, it is healthy food the majority of the time. If I get hungry, I eat within that window. So I'll snack on nuts if I feel hungry in between my porridge and my dinner. So that's what I have. So when I break my fast, I normally break my fast with porridge, berries, and I make my porridge with water and almonds. I have now started adding yogurt, like pure yogurt, not flavoured or anything added, full fat yogurt into my porridge. And oh my goodness, it was delicious. Greek yogurt. I add that because that's good for your gut health. So I've started adding yogurt into my porridge as well. And that keeps me full because there's so much protein in that, which is what you need. Protein for building muscle. You need your protein. That's what I have in the morning, and that's how I break my fast. Sometimes at the weekend I'll have eggs, and you know, and maybe I'll not fast for as long, but it's very rare. I try and stick to this, whether it's the weekend, weekday or whatever. So I normally break my fast with porridge, yogurt, almonds and berries, and then if I get hungry, I'll have some almonds, and not almonds with anything on them. I've started now to roast them myself, so I just put them in the oven, sprinkle some water and some salt and pepper on them, and that's it. That would generally be my snack. And then I'll have my dinner, whatever it is, which is normally a protein of some kind, which is more often fish, and salad and vegetables. Or I'll make a pot of soup, or I'll make chili con carne, and with my chili con carne I'll have cauliflower as opposed to rice and everything else. I do sometimes have a tiny bit of bread, you know. I keep my carbs low naturally, like I said in my last video, but for me, I am not on a keto diet. It's not about, you know, not eating this, not eating a lot of vegetables and Mine is about eating whole foods. That's my diet. Real food. That's what I call it. Real food. Not food with added colours and preservatives and sugars and all that rubbish that, why would I put that in my body? Really? No. So that's basically how I fast. Like I said, some people will only eat one meal, and of course if you're only eating that one meal, you are going to lose weight, because that's, you know, that goes back to calories in and calories out, you know. Although you're doing a lot of good because you are fasting, which basically works on, like, so when we work our muscles, we're kind of stressing them out. When we're doing exercise, we're kind of stressing our muscles out, and that's really basically how fasting works. You're stressing out your cells, so they're getting better, they're learning to work better. But you have to be careful, because you can over fast as well, which then creates problems in itself. So it is a fine balance. That's why for me, I stick to the 8-16. I eat when I'm hungry within my 8-hour period, because I don't want rules. I don't want to make things difficult. I don't want to feel hungry. I never feel hungry when I'm fasting until I'm ready to eat. Because if you're eating the right foods, you don't really get peckish, like, you don't get in that, I'm starving, I need to eat something desperate. You don't get like that, because you stay full for longer, especially if you're eating your proteins. You need to eat your fibre. I get my fibre from my porridge and all of that, and all the vegetables that I eat as well, and the salads, which is what you're needing, you know, to decrease your inflammation, to hold back the hunger pangs, so you're not getting hungry. You need to incorporate the right foods. Honestly, it makes such a difference. It really, really does. I wish, you know, honestly, I had so many messages and everything, and it does. And I said in my last video, I don't want to come off as preachy, because I have been that person that has watched these videos like, oh, life is too short, eat my dark chocolate. Dark chocolate has its own good benefits. Dark chocolate does have added sugar in it, but it has so many antioxidants in it. Oh, honestly, dark chocolate, green tea, berries, great for your liver, people. I need all the help from my liver that I can get. Cheers, by the way. A very rare treat is fine, which I'm not saying that that's very, very rare that I have my wine, but I limit it as well in comparison to how I used to have my wine. What was I going to say? Yeah, one of the comments I had was about having cheat days. Cheat days does not work for me, because I feel then I'm undoing all the good that I have. So if I sit on my cheat day and eat the potatoes and eat the crisps and all the gummies and blah blah blah, you know, all the things that I wouldn't eat now, it's not good for my inflammation. You know, that was one of my big symptoms when I started feeling unwell. I had terrible inflammation in my fingers. It was painful. You know, they would just automatically swell up. I would have to bandage my wrist when I went into the gym. I was honestly, and I was putting it all down to just getting old, and it's not. The difference, changing my diet, adding all these things, HRT, exercise. Although I've always exercised, now I have that energy. I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll say I'm at that gym like a 16-year-old. Not that 16-year-old be going to the gym. Just 16-year-old would have much better things to do. But I've got the energy to do that now. You know, I have my energy back because I'm eating the right things. I'm giving my body the right things. I'm fasting, so that is adding all those benefits that I spoke about earlier. So like I said right at the beginning, you need to do all of these things, and I'm gonna make you know, a variety of videos on this subject, on all the different things. The other comment that I quite often see is, I don't have the time to exercise, I'm working, I don't have the energy, blah blah blah. I get all of that, I get that, but okay, so you're getting ready for bed. How about doing 10 squats? Just 10 easy squats, okay? The one night. The next night, how about doing 10 press-ups? 3, whatever you can do. And then the more you do them, the stronger you get, and the more you'll be able to do. You know, you don't have to do full press-ups. You know, there's so many variations of doing easier press-ups, you know, where you're not having your legs right out. You can bring them in. You can do them against a wall. There are so many variations of different exercises, you know, for different abilities as well. So do 5 squats the one night, do 6 squats the next night, do 5 press-ups another night, do 10 sit-ups another night. There's so many different things to incorporate some sort of exercise in your routine, because it makes such a massive difference to your overall well-being, you know, because you need that muscle. You need to build muscle. Okay, talking about muscle, I had a lot of comments about my abs. Now, everybody's got abs. Everybody has abs, right? So, but sometimes they are just hidden with a few layers of fat, okay? So you need to build those abs up. I have been doing exercise for years and years and years and years. Okay, so once I got rid of that belly, the abs that I have been working on for years have kind of popped through. But again, you know, there's certain ways of doing exercise, and especially when you're doing abs. You know, I don't want to come off as the expert here, because I am not. I get pulled up about my technique all the time at the gym. So when you're doing abs, you should more often than not be holding that belly in. Anything that you're doing, even if you're doing a plank, there you go, do a plank last thing at night, increase the time of your plank. When you're doing a plank, by the way, bum should be down, so you should be straight. Your tummy should be pulled in. Your tummy shouldn't be hanging. You should be holding it in. When you're doing your abs, you should be holding it in, because you're training your abs, you're training your muscles in here to form properly and not pop out in the wrong way. So, you know, there's all of that as well. But also, when you're doing abs, you shouldn't be feeling it on your neck. If you're feeling it on your neck, that means you're not using your abs to pull you up. I'm not saying I'm the expert, like I said. Honestly, I get pulled up all the time in the classes for not doing things properly. But generally, I know the right way to do them. Sometimes I just get lazy. Okay, but, you know, and less is more. So do less of an exercise and do it properly, because that way it works. If you're doing a whole load of something and you're not doing it properly, it's useless, it's pointless. That was the other thing I wanted to touch on: exercise. Do some sort of exercise. It's so good for you for so many reasons: for your mental health, for your muscle building, for your energy levels. Honestly, just some sort of exercise. Start incorporating it in. Again, before you do anything, see your doctors and all of that, you know, because again, like I said, I'm not the expert. The other thing is, when I spoke about my diet, I get it. For some people, like I said, certain diets don't work because of health issues. So again, you know, I'm talking in general terms, and like I said, this is what has worked for me. So there are certain things, like fasting can be dangerous for some people, so don't do it. Some foods don't work. You might have, I eat nuts, and we all know the allergies that go with nuts. So, you know, again, it has to be what works for you. You know your body better than anybody, and you know what you can and can't have. We all know what we can and can't have and should and shouldn't have, but it's just doing it. The other thing I want to touch on, I spoke about supplements, that you shouldn't really need supplements. You should be getting them from your meals, from good nutrition, you know, if you're eating good healthy food. I do take a couple of supplements now. Again, you have to be careful with supplements, because if you're taking the wrong supplements, you could be doing yourself more harm than good, which is what happened to me. Because, you know, I had high iron levels, and when I was taking supplements that included iron, I was doing more harm to myself. My body couldn't cope with all this iron. So that's why I'm not very pro supplements, but there are a couple that I take. So vitamin D, I will start taking again. I don't take it in the summer months, but as the winter months come in, I will start taking my vitamin D, because it has a lot of health benefits. And the darker your skin is, the more likely it is that you'll need vitamin D. So I'll start taking that. Also, turmeric. I take turmeric because if you need, turmeric is something that, when I read up about it, you don't, is it digest it or you don't absorb it well? So you need to take it in the form with pepper and things like that. So I take turmeric as a supplement. Initially, I started taking turmeric as a supplement for my inflammation in my fingers, in my joints, and it did help me. Now, I mean, honestly, I'm doing this with my fingers and I have no pain in my fingers at all, and that feels amazing, and I can so appreciate that. It's not until you suffer with inflammation in your joints that you can appreciate how, you know, painful it can be. So recently it has also been discovered that not only turmeric is good for inflammation, but it's good for reducing belly fat. I can never say that. I always want to say flat. Wish it was flat. Well, it is flat now. It's good for belly fat, for decreasing belly fat, and it's also good for your gut health. So there you go. So that's why I take turmeric, however you like to call it. So that's my video on fasting. This is what I have been doing. Remember, you need to do it, all people. Just do it. Exercise. Do a bit of exercise. Look at your diet. Stop sugar. If you're not going to do anything else, stop eating sugar. And fasting is good, but be careful with fasting. Don't go over the top. You know, I mean, I enjoy my food. I'm not going to go, I mean, I see videos where people are fasting for 24 hours and blah, blah. No, people. I do my 16 hours. That's enough for me. It works for me. So I don't need to take it any further. Everything that I have spoken about has worked for me. My joints are good. My belly fat has gone. My energy levels are amazing. I feel amazing. So that's why I do it. That's why I stick to it. This is my new lifestyle. I want to do it because I've seen the results. I see how I feel. I feel amazing again. I really do. And listen, I have days where I'm tired as well, but I don't need to go for a nap. My energy levels are back to the way they were. And your HRT, don't forget your HRT. Look into HRT as well. It makes such a difference. It has so many health benefits. You know, like everything else that I've spoken about, HRT has so many health benefits. I initially went on it because of dementia, you know, but again, like I said, I've done a video on HRT. Right, I need to stop. I think this video's been long enough. Thank you so much for being here with me. To those of you that leave comments and subscribe and have the bell notification turned on, thank you very much. Leave your comments in the comments below and we can chat down there. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next time. Oh, if you want to see more videos from me, I'm going to link one here, and if you're not already subscribed, it's right here. Bye. Cheers.